If you charge way more than your competition, there is no competition. There's no one to compare you to. And that's how you remove your business as a commodity. But how do you justify charging way more than everybody else while still getting enough clients to pay you? We're gonna be covering how to be the most expensive in your marketplace, but still getting a bunch of people who want to buy from you. Stick around to the end and you'll learn exactly how you can do this with your own coaching business. Let's lay down some ground rules first. Number one, this is for people with a coaching business or sell some kind of service. It's not for selling rocks and Sharpies or any of those little things. It has to be of great value. Number two, it needs to be absolutely life-changing for the buyer. It needs to affect the person in such a great way that it's worth way more than the money they're trading for the service. So here are the top 5 reasons why being more expensive is better. When something is expensive, it's immediately assumed that it is of greater value. When you walk into a store and you see something expensive, you automatically assume that it's better, even if you don't know if that's true or not. For example, if I handed you 2 guitars and you knew nothing about these 2 guitars, you've never heard them, you've never played them, no one's ever talked about them, but I told you one was $99 and the other one was $10,000. Without hearing it or knowing anything else about it, which one do you assume sounds better? If you're being truthful, you probably said the $10,000 one. And guess what? That's a first impression and that's an automatic assumption. So the next step is hearing what the guitars sound like. Psychologically, subconsciously, you've already made a biased decision that the $10,000 one sounds better, even if you don't realize it. So when you hear these 2 guitars side by side, you start listening for, oh, okay, that sounds better. And it could be true or it couldn't be, but you've already made that assumption in your head. So think about your buyer. Before they make any assumption, they're gonna look at your competition, their price is gonna be $99, where yours is gonna be $5,000. Before they know anything else, they're automatically going to assume that yours is worth better for a reason, and then they start finding reasons in their head why yours is more valuable. You're essentially pre-framing them to make a biased decision on why yours is worth more, even before they know anything about it. Number 2, clients show up more dedicated when they have more on the line. You've probably heard the saying before, but it's so true. When people pay, they pay attention. So when they have more skin in the game, they're going to show up more dedicated, more serious, and do the work that you actually say, or they'll take your service seriously. I'll use myself as an example. Before I had this business, I would buy courses and I would buy different coaching packages and I'd spend maybe $500, $1,000 here and there. I'm not saying that $1,000 isn't a lot of money, but if you put it into context, most people make more than $1,000 each month off of their 9 to 5, and that's what I was doing at the time. So in order to create my own business, I had to break a lot of bad habits. I had to change and uproot my entire current lifestyle in order to get this new lifestyle that I want. And that was a dramatic change, and that took a lot of effort. So if I was only invested about $1,000 into that, as time passed, I just looked at like, do I uproot everything? Do I change everything? Or will I just make up that $1,000 with my next paycheck? And that's what it always came down to. I ended up dropping off and not showing up to any of the courses or doing any of the things they said because I knew I would make up that $1,000 in the next paycheck and it wouldn't be a big deal, and then I would just keep doing what I was doing and change nothing about my life. However, the first time I spent a real serious amount of money with a coach, I was ready to spend another $1,000. I showed up on the call like a big shot. I was like, I got a G, I'm ready to throw it down. At the end of the call, they said it was $10,000 and my jaw dropped. That's 10 times more than I was ready to spend, but I looked at it in 2 different ways. I either spend this 10 grand, possibly build the business of my dreams, never have to listen to a boss again. But if I decided not to spend that 10 grand, I would work a job until I was 65, too old to enjoy my life, finally retire. Inflation would have been insane, so I would be living scarcely off my 401k and my savings. So I had to measure the 2 and see which one would cost more, because regardless, we're making a decision, there is going to be a cost. But that's not the point. When I spent $10,000, I had to take out a loan, I had to take out money from my savings, I had to borrow money from people. I had so much on the line and so much skin in the game that failure was not an option. I had to make it happen no matter how many times I would fall on my face. I did all the uncomfortable things. I changed my entire lifestyle. I changed all my habits because I had so much on the line. 10 grand was a lot and I couldn't just let it go. Fast forward till now, if I never spent that 10 grand, I would not be in this position making this video right now because I'd be at a 9 to 5 working my life away. Moral of the story is that I spent more, but I got a life-changing transformation because I dedicated myself. And that's how your clients will show up if you have them put more skin in the game. And that's the funny part. We all think that it's a disservice to charge them more money, but is it a disservice to charge them more money and give them that transformation, that life they want? Or is it more of a disservice to charge them a little bit of money, mislead them, and not give them enough for them to actually change their life? I honestly think number 2 costs more than if you charged them more and gave them that transformation. Number 3, again, you get less tire kickers and more serious clients. If you had a giant problem, you had a big problem, would you think a cheap fix would solve that for you? Would a $97 course really make you believe that this massive problem you have in your life is gonna go away if you spend $97? Probably not, and that's what your clients are thinking too. But guess what? If you charge low prices, guess who you're going to attract a lot of? Tire kickers. Why? Because tire kickers aren't super dedicated. That means they're looking for a low risk solution, meaning that they're looking for low priced products. Serious people with a serious problem do not believe that a cheap fix is going to solve a massive problem for them. Think of if you were having open heart surgery, they had to rip your chest apart and put little knives in it. Would you go to Groupon and get a discount for the heart surgeon that is offering Groupons, with the potential that they could mess up your heart, you could die, all that stuff? Or would you be more trustworthy of the person who's done it time and time again, can turn around really fast, and is much more likely to give you a good result, but it costs more? So you have to think about how big your problem is that you solve. And if it's big, then you shouldn't be charging little prices for it. You should be charging according to what it's worth. You have to remember, in everyone's mind, if you are the best, you can't be the cheapest. And if you're the cheapest, you can't be the best. It's an assumption everybody's having. Number 4, you need less people to say yes for you to hit the same income goals. Let's just say your goal is to be able to make at least 10 grand per month. That's an easy round number to work with. Let's say you have a $100 product. 10,000 divided by 100 is 100. That means you need 100 people to say yes and hand you their credit card. But what if we charged more? If we wanted to hit $10,000, but we had a $3,000 product, we only need 3.3 people to say yes to you. And let's just round up and call it 4. You need 4 people to say yes to you instead of 100. That means 96 people can say no to you and you will still hit your income goals. And guess what this means? This means you can say no to more people and be picky about who you work with so that you don't have to work with headache clients. You can just help the people that you know you can truly help and want to help. And guess what? You have more flexibility with your ads because you make more money faster and less of your time is consumed with a whole bunch of clients. Imagine if you have 100 clients to deal with. Now imagine if you have 4 clients to deal with. Think of how much of a difference that is and how much less your attention is split when you have 4 instead of 100. And if you need less yeses, you don't have to spend as much on marketing and ads because you're paying for traffic. If you need an abundance of traffic to get 100 yeses, you have to spend more on ads to put it in front of more people. If you only need 4 yeses, you don't have to spend as much on ads. You just make each person a little bit more valuable so that you can hit your target faster and you can give them more attention. Number 5 is exclusivity and making yourself less accessible. You know, there's people out there who just buy things because it's simply expensive. That's why there are name brands out there. People don't buy Versace and Gucci just because it's cheap. They buy it literally because it's expensive. It is a status symbol. It makes them viewed by other people a certain way, or at least they feel that way. Imagine bragging about a Walmart t-shirt. No one's out there going like, I got this Hanes t-shirt. Like, what up? No one is out there at the club trying to pick up girls and being like, check out my Hanes t-shirt. Check out these Fruit of the Loom underwear. No one's doing that because it's cheap and it's affordable and anybody can have access to it. Whereas if you get something that's expensive, people know that not everyone has access to that, and so it becomes a little bit more exclusive. And people value that because it upgrades their status in their mind. And when people can't have something, they want it even more. That's what luxury brands do all day. Let's use Rolex as an example. You can't even buy a brand new Rolex, even if you had the money to do it. You could not walk into a Rolex store and say, here's my money, give me a watch. They'd be like, good luck, join the waiting list and wait like 5 years. And since there's a waiting list, all these people on that list are aching to get a Rolex, but they have to wait until it's their time. And guess what? When Rolex calls them up in 3 years, they're not gonna be like, this isn't a good time. They're gonna jump on it. And so when you build that sort of scarcity, that sort of urgency, that's where you grow and grow and grow that urge to want the product even more. Because when people can't have something, they want it even more. And they work harder to get in, and then you have the leverage. Because you already have clients that are paying you a ton of money. Not everybody has access to you. So when you're giving them that opportunity, they're gonna take more action and they're gonna jump on it. We went over the top 5 reasons why it's good to be the most expensive, but how do you justify doing that and making yourself more expensive? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the first thing you gotta stop doing is charging based on time. That's a 9 to 5 mentality. You work this much time, I pay you this much money. The more time you work, the more I pay you, but you only have 24 hours a day. If you want freedom, you have to disconnect your potential earnings from your time. Why would you ever attach something that you want to grow exponentially to something that's limited? Like your physical body or your time. Why would you ever do that if you wanted abundance? So the only way to get freedom is to disconnect those two. Plus, the funny part is people don't even pay your hourly rate because they want to buy your time. They're not like, oh, I want to sit down and I want to hang out with Chris so bad, I just want his time. That's not the reason why they buy your time. They only buy your time because they believe that you are their best bet at getting to a certain outcome, result, or transformation for themselves. They're buying into you for their own benefit. They have their own agenda. They want that if I spend this much time with you, spend this much money with you, I get this result. So why not just sell that outcome in the first place? It's more valuable in their own heads anyways. Your time may not be worth thousands of dollars, but that outcome could be worth thousands of dollars. And if you can get them that and you focus on selling that, that's how you get more people interested. People don't buy a plane ticket to get on the plane. They buy it because they want to go on vacation. They don't buy a gym membership because they want to hang out in the gym. They spend time in the gym so that they can get ripped and they can get healthy. They don't buy protein shakes because they like the taste of protein shakes. They drink the protein so that they can get massive gains. And that's what people are always doing. They're like, hey, if you buy my course, you'll get this many one-on-ones, you'll get this many hours of modules and lessons and all this stuff. That's just selling the things they need to be able to get to a result. You should be focusing on the result itself. If you work with me, you'll be able to play the oboe at a professional level so that you can get gigs. That's what they truly want. They don't want to just hang out with you. And that's the thing. They don't hire a coach. They don't buy courses for the modules, for the lessons. They buy it for the outcome. And your pricing should be based on the magnitude of the outcome when they're done working with you. How life or career changing is that outcome when they're done working with you? What does that transformation look like? What's that worth? That's what you should be charging according to. And again, I'll give you an example. A beginner's website looks like, this is about me. This is the schooling I went to. This is the people I played with. Me, me, me. At the end of the day, when they look at all that, the question in your client's mind is still, how does this help me? So if you focus on the outcome that they want, that increases the perceived value of your product in their head, and it gets them more burning desire to actually want to buy from you. I promise if you focus on the outcome, you will increase the way they look at your company and you will get more people to pay you. If the information in this video was eye-opening for you, the video in the link down below is going to be even more transformational for you. It's a free training that teaches you how to grow a high-ticket business online through coaching and selling your expertise. I'll also leave a link below to book a phone call with me if you want someone to help you personally hold your hand and grow that business with you. I'll leave the link down below in the description so that you can book a call and we can chat and see if we're a good fit to work together and help you grow your business. Regardless, I hope this video was helpful and it changed your perspective. Please subscribe, send this video to any friends that you feel like it would benefit, and I will see you in the next video.